in the building. Self Love Show is back in the building after a short hiatus out there.
Silverback, more growth in the.
Yes, sir.
The Self Love Show, giving you more than vitamins and minerals. Food for your soul, information and plans integral to making your mind grow. With more growth and development, BS is irrelevant to the intelligent. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding is what we represent. It's the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. We do it for our people. The Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show. To expose they don't equal. The Self Love Show, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. To a wordsmith 9 mil. The Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. You know how the story goes. It's the Self Love Show.
Great little ditty there. Big ups to the co-host, Brother Wordsmith. The views expressed in today's pod are those of the host, any guests, and are not necessarily reflective of TATN, ESPN, or any affiliates. Welcome to another enriching episode of the Self Love Show on This Ain't That Network, and as we call it, TATN. Yeah? This is a spot where we dive extremely deep into the intersections of mind, body, spirit, and consciousness, not to mention culture. This is one of the co-hosts, 9 Millie. First off, all praise to the ancestors, the most and supreme high, and of course, my late and beloved Mama Sky. Mission. Welcome to the Ice Age, a realm where borders are more than lines on a map. They're battlegrounds of identity, legality, loyalty, and culture. In today's episode, we're not talking about a frozen planet or climate shift, but the cold machinery of immigration enforcement, geopolitical alliances, and the myths we wrap around citizenship. There are new icebergs. These are new icebergs, silent, looming, and powerful enough to reshape destinies. We began by confronting the dynamics of ally warmongering, where alliances aren't always forged in peace. Often they're lit fuses, binding nations with promises of solidarity while dragging them into proxy conflicts and escalating tensions and into the world banking system. Who's calling the shots? And who ends up paying the price? When friends become instigators, the world stage becomes a theater. The world is a stage, y'all. The world stage becomes a theater of calculated aggression disguised as unity. From there, we hop on to the pressing issue of birthright citizenship, an idea once seen as a cornerstone of inclusion, now turned flashpoint in polarizing debates. What does it mean when the place of your first breath grants or denies belonging? Across policies and presidencies, this right has been praised, challenged, and manipulated. But underneath it all lies a question deeper than the law. Do borders define identity, or does identity transcend borders? Are we ushering in the New World Order? Oh, it's a wacky conspiracy. Tonight's episode is a breakdown and a reckoning, cutting through narratives built to divide or distract. Here in the Ice Age, we're thawing the rhetoric, tracing the roots, and challenging the systems that decide who gets to belong, who gets to speak, and who gets to stay. Let's dive into the freeze and find a fire beneath it. So, whip out your self-love vision and your 10 hats. This is the Self Love Show, and this is the revolution. And the revolution will not be on YouTube or any social media, however. These are lessons, not lectures. We're live in living color on Tuesday, 7/1/2025 at about 7-11 in the holy city of Chicago. And as always, you cats can be anywhere in this magnanimous universe, but think fully. We all chose to be here together. Here together. Bear down, Shot Town. Bear down, bear down, bear down. What down, brother Wordsmith? What you manifesting today?
Love, now you know me. I'm manifesting love. What you manifesting?
Same, good brother. Pure, magnificent, unfettered, unfiltered. Some have said, it's tough love. You can ask some guys I may have pledged. Uh, you know, uh, some have said it's harsh, but I can assure you, it's self love just the same, good brother.
No doubt, no doubt.
Hey, a whole lot been going on, man. We ain't been up here in a minute, man. What's been going on since we last popped out there, fella?
Man, we've Ancestor Echoes was presented by Midwest Festivals, and it was completely amazing. Best one yet. Man, it was incredible.
You guys are getting some more growth and development going on, huh?
Yeah, it got thicker, it was more people, and it was amazing.
Was the music better?
It's always great.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah, I know.
I don't know if you can get better.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
You know what I
you.
mean?
It was a trick question. That's great though, bro. Man, that's great, bro. Y'all just, man, keep going, man.
Yeah.
Missed it. We were celebrating our 25th. So
Yeah,
yeah.
congratulations on that.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
for
amazing.
sure. Yeah, it's great, man. Great as well. I appreciate that. Yeah, we went and kicked it on Catalina Island, decompressed a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And yeah, but God willing though, bro, we'll be at the next one, man.
Yeah.
25-year anniversary doesn't come around every year.
No, once, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as we know, bro. That's
Yeah.
great though, man. So did you have the same spot? Was your camper in the same spot where it was last year?
It was where Wakil's was last year. And
Okay.
and then Dempsey had his where mine was, and Wakil had one across the back. So we had 3 over there this year.
Man,
It's
great
real
people,
nice.
good vibes.
Oh man, it was. Yeah, I mean, we had somebody come uh towards the end and try to disturb
The peace?
yeah, pink individual.
Seriously?
Yeah, man.
What? Was talking about what?
I
Wait,
I I,
do
wa-
tell.
I saw him, and he was getting into it with Tim Beats a little bit, and I just looked, and I walked away. They said later that he was getting into it with Dempsey, and finally Wakil Batala went and handled the business and escorted him off the property.
Was he a DJ? Like,
No, he came with someone who's a DJ that wasn't performing, but was coming to support the event.
what was the nature of his beef?
I don't know. He was some sort of devil. He was running around talking about he was a god, and he could do what he wanted, and was took somebody's sunglasses, and said he broke his, so he just decided to take somebody's. It was
Wow.
complete nonsense.
Yeah, for any non-bronze colored out there, don't take the chill, laissez-faire attitude as weakness, because you will be dragged out of there. We don't take too kindly to pink privilege around here, huh?
Not at all.
Yeah, trolls get holes. A shame to hear that, but usual suspects. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it didn't really last long. You know what I mean?
Probably sent by the spooks.
Really, because the police came before that.
Mm-mm-mm.
Police came and said someone called 911 or something from there. So we turned the music off, and Wakil asked everybody, anybody call 911? Is everybody all right? Everybody cool? Everybody good? Yeah, everybody's good, sir. We don't need you here.
Wow. Wow. What the ancestors had, y'all, I'm sure, man.
Man. Did they?
Wow. Yeah, we want to spend time on that jackass. What to expect on today's the Self Love Show. We always kick it off, as you might remember, with the quote of the day. Then we move on to the more growth and development platform video. It's less than 1 minute. That's what we're standing upon. And then tattoo tyranny. We're going to roll a couple of videos me and this brother are going to react to. And we'll tell you if it's tyranny or if it's something, we can rock with. Your mind is a terrible thing to waste. So we're rolling into, after that, the dome teaser. It's a riddle. I'll drop it in the chat real soon. Maybe I won't, because you guys don't matriculate. You're standing back there getting sacked 68 times. Like Caleb Williams, our quarterback, who's an outed autosexual. Look it up. It's true. And then we jump on today's topic, the Ice Age, Birthright Citizenship, and ally warmongering. We're going to unpack that today. These are some serious topics of a humanitarian nation. People are dying. Meanwhile, we just keep scrolling on social media like robots. And then at the end of the show, it's my personal favorite part of the whole shebang. That's when Brother Wordsmith, he's going to go ahead and summarize everything that we unpack here today in a bit of prose. It's right off the top of his dome. I tell you guys, do stick around from that. He's pulling it from the ether and pushing it back through the ether. Yeah, so enjoy that. You got any announcements there, fella?
Oh, I also didn't say what's going on because that was the week before. My son is in town, and my daughter should be in town this evening. So very, very happy. My son is going to a lawyer camp, prosecutor's camp, actually, at Northwestern University.
Nice. Nice, bro. Yeah, big ups to the little ones. Big ups. Rack up. Chicago's a great town. You know what I mean? Summertime shines the best place in the world. So yeah, something for you cats to consider as you make your decision where you want to live. You know what I mean? All right. Yeah, I didn't have any announcements outside of stop the violence out there, y'all. And then please subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe. Drop some comments down up in there. We appreciate that. This is interactive, so it helps us to keep the show moving. If you got any questions, concerns, comments, put it in there. We'll be sure to address it, at some point throughout the show. All right. Any chat rats out there? Huh? Meaning, maybe you're a undocumented immigrant. Maybe your parents are undocumented. Maybe you're a first generation United States citizen. Maybe you're copper colored, bronze colored, descendant of being a prisoner of war vis-a-vis so-called slavery. We want to hear from you. Drop it in the chat. Maybe you're an immigration lawyer and you're getting money off all of this and you like to beat the hornet's nest so you guys can get paid. I don't know. These are lessons, not lectures. Before I turn it over to this brother, big ups to all the sponsors. Midwest Festivals presents Ancestral Echoes. Yeah, you guys get ready because it's going up. And then we got Tay Mills Aesthetics. If you're ever in sunny Southern California, what do you call that? Sanctuary City. And you're looking for a multicultural skin, body, and weight loss pro licensed. Okay. Reach out. That's www.taymillsaesthetics.com. That's pinned in the chat as well. And if you need some swag, these are all copper colored companies. You might want a personalized t-shirt, sweatshirt, something like that. Reach out to Bella B. Bella B Designs 365 at gmail.com. And last but not least, might need a tow truck. Maybe you forgot to put gas in the car. Maybe you was tweaking, and you saw 12 and you pulled over and you decided to jump in the passenger seat. Reach out to Jim Recovery out there in the Chicagoland area. He's got a program where he can tow you and your whip to wherever you want to go for an extremely small fee. That's right. And if you're undocumented, tell him you're undocumented. Uh, all right, enough of my yapping. Handle your business, brother Wordsmith.
Yes, y'all. Don't stop. Self Love Show rocks on. Welcome. As Nine has said, Self Love Show, the Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering. Unpacked. As always, we have a very important video. I would like you to watch the Silverback More Growth and Development platform, which we're building the Self Love Nation off of. But before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. Citizenship is an attitude, a state of mind, an emotional conviction that the whole is greater than the part, and that the part should be humbly proud to sacrifice itself that the whole may live. Once again, citizenship is an attitude, a state of mind, an emotional conviction that the whole is greater than the part, and that the part should be humbly proud to sacrifice itself that the whole may live. Robert A. Heinlein.
Sounds like somebody pledging beta.
Yeah, that sounds nuts. You're doing the video.
Oh, yeah. Big ups to Karen. Big ups to Karen. Big ups to Karen. Let's see here. Let's see here. Teach them to fish. There we go. There we go. Self Love Nation. There we go. Up here. There we go.
Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. Number 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, shine a light on positive influences. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing the gap.
And 10, protect our women, children, and men by any and all means necessary.
Flesh. And the people said amen. Yeah, in case you missed last week, not last week, but when we last popped out our last show, Ancestral Echoes, we broke down, presented by Midwest Festivals, the Glamping Good House Music Festival, which you got to be there to really,
Man,
you know,
you gotta be there. And that's
you know,
the truth.
you know what I mean?
Words cannot express what and how the ancestors blessed. For real.
Yeah. Yes. 100,000,000%. 100,000,000%. All right, we got some we got a poll put up on the channel, y'all. We'll pop it into the chat momentarily. The poll question is this: can the United States survive without undocumented peoples? Okay. Had some pushback a little bit from Brother Newman. You know, my caveats, the caveats. So I should have had one in here that said, comment if you got, something to say. All right. So the first option is no. We need the hardworking, honest, respectful additions. Okay. Your second option is yes. U.S. citizens will pick up the slack. Your third option is unsure because I'm rubbing my bum on the border fence. Yeah? Rubbing your bum on that border fence out there. Brother Wordsmith and I, we will let you know how we responded to said poll, which I'm dropping into the chat here now. Let's see here. So you guys just click on that last post in there. Click on that, vote real quick, and then we'll let you guys know the results at the end of the show. And once again, big ups to all the sponsors. Today we're covering the I.C.E, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering Unpacked. Brother Wordsmith, I know we've been gone for a while, but this is something that happened in your backyard. There was a delivery driver out there, okay, who was hell-bent on making a delivery. I know you've been busy, but did you check that out?
No, I've been. Whew. Nope. I haven't even been watching the internet. Like I'll be I don't
Unplugged out there.
completely.
We want to show you the moment a DoorDash driver made a major wrong turn at O'Hare last month. Look closely. You see a red car. It's on the top left side of your screen. It's a little wide there. Now you can see the red car. You see it there? It's a very wide shot. But that red car right there on May 17th was driven by a 36-year-old man who made a mistake and somehow drove past a security gate, ended up in a restricted area at the airport right next to the airliners there on the ramp. You can see the jet bridges there. Chicago aviation officials say there were no disruptions to operations. They say police ended up stopping the driver. They made a security sweep afterwards. Officials at DoorDash say the driver was making a delivery, and it appears he, simply got lost.
Innocent mistake.
Oh, my God.
All right. So, yeah, he was following the app. You know how sometimes the app does. You know what I mean? But you got to use your human consciousness out there.
Yeah.
But the security self, I don't know how he got through, but he must have followed somebody in there. The security guard, I think it was a young lady, might have been copper colored. She lost her job out there. Who's yeah, because nobody called it in like, hey, there's a car.
Right. They didn't say nothing.
No.
She was looking at her phone or something. I don't know what she could have been. How you let somebody drive unauthorized?
What could he have been thinking? Could he have been thinking, oh, the pilot must want some food before he take off? Like,
he didn't know he was pulling into the planes until he got in there and saw them, I'm sure. I'm sure of that. He was pulling in behind somebody like, yeah, this must be the way. And then get in there and he's like, wait a minute.
They should have checked his piss.
Yeah, it could have been a very dangerous situation.
Yeah, I mean, the so-called terrorists are looking at this, and they're like, you mean that's all I got to do is put a DoorDash emblem on my car and come in there with a pizza bag full of BOMBSs and slide right on in there next to that plane and blow that thing up?
That was very dangerous. And it's dangerous. I know he wasn't copper colored because they didn't get out and shoot him
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they didn't check his piss, and they didn't find a way to criminalize it. You're right. I wouldn't be surprised if he was, one of the undocumented persons, because they've been given licenses and work visas and everything, and you know what I mean. I see them all over the road.
Oh man,
I'd be looking at them, shaking my head like. Like we don't carry on like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't carry on like that. We don't drive on, and somebody research it. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but we don't drive on the tarmac out there making deliveries, huh?
Yeah, we definitely don't do that.
Yeah, like Brother Wordsmith said, we've been conditioned. They'll get out with those billy clubs and shoot first. At least tase you. You know what I mean? Like, I thought the tasing, the non-lethal weapons would be a good thing. No. It's just another way of, oh, man, if we had those tools back in the pledging days. All right, here we go. Let's move on.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. The Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Allied Warmongering. All right, we got one more for you there, fella. That one was the high level food delivery. That was NBC Shy. So big ups to them. Fair use. We got some clout chasing 2.0 here, fella. Clout chasing 2.0. Mind blowing, in my opinion.
Gunman in the deadly shooting on the Las Vegas Strip made his first court appearance this morning. The Clark County coroner also identifying the victims. Here's a pic of them: 44-year-old Rodney Finley and 43-year-old Tanisha Finley. Our Andrew Namura joins us now from the downtown Las Vegas area with more on what he's learned about this case, along with reaction from several YouTubers who showed up in court today. Andrew?
Yeah, that's correct, LaToya. At least 3 YouTubers were present when 41-year-old Manuel Ruiz made his first court appearance. They also shared insights as to their reasons why this beef turned deadly.
Good morning, Mr. Ruiz. You were arrested for 2 counts of open murder with use of a deadly weapon.
41-year-old Manuel Ruiz makes his
Shades in court is crazy.
first court appearance Tuesday, 2 days after he allegedly shot and killed 2 people along the Las Vegas Strip near the Bellagio fountains. The Clark County coroner officially identifying them as 43 and 44-year-old Tanisha and Rodney Finley.
I thought it was just all for YouTube content. I didn't think he was going to actually shoot him and shoot his wife and kill them. I didn't think it was going to go that far.
This apparent YouTube beef turned tragedy, getting the attention of other creators like Marquise Wiley, who showed up to court in support of the victims. He says the bad blood started brewing more than a year ago.
It was all about who was the biggest Las Vegas YouTube content creator. And it was just, they was in competition. And when you watch YouTube, you see different creators competing for viewers. And that's what I thought it was about. I didn't think it was going to end in violence.
A judge ordering Ruiz to be held without bail. Wiley says this incident is not a representation of all influencers.
It make all YouTubers look bad right now because people think that we are violent and stuff like that. I have the Wiley show. I'm not violent. What Ruiz did was, it was unethical, it was stupid, and he deserved to be in prison.
Well, Ruiz is slated to be back in court this Thursday to be arraigned on open murder charges.
Yeah, how is he in court with shades on?
Yeah, twice. I saw him in court the 3rd time. I think the judge finally told him to take those shades off. I don't know, bro.
What? I guess you can have him in prison, but how did he get them? I mean, ain't he locked? I mean, in jail or whatever.
Yeah, maybe they're prescription shades, but still, bro, like
Coming
right.
from, you know, did he make bail? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did he come there with the right? So how did he? That doesn't make much sense.
Yeah. So the bronze colored couple, husband and wife team, they said that Ruiz allegedly flagged their channel because they were doing reaction content. They was on his bum. And we say trolls get hoes around here, but come on, people. And so then Ruiz didn't like it and start flagging this dude's channel. So the wife and the homeboy were visiting Vegas. They were just out there. I don't think they live in Vegas. And Ruiz, bro, was driving around on live looking for them. He was driving around on live looking for them and happened to find them.
Oh, okay. And so what's open murder? Open, it should be 1st-degree murder, wouldn't it? You're saying open murder. I'm not familiar with the lawful term.
Yeah, me neither. You know, they use words, you know, the millennials, and they got all I don't know. I have no idea, bro.
The judge said it, so it must be a Nevada thing.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. So the Ruiz is claiming self-defense. He shot the guy first. He stalked them while they're making a post, shoots the guy, kills him, and then shoots the wife. Is like, I can't believe you did this, and then shot her dead, bro. And his claim is self-defense there, fella.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's not a police officer, so I don't think the melanin is the weapon that's going to apply for him, Mr. Ruiz.
Yeah, and he's got those, gang tattoos on his neck and blah blah blah. Donald Trump is in office. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go good. A lot of these, not all of them, but a lot of these people from south of the border identify with the colonizers. You know what I mean? And have a hatred for us. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that Ruiz is like that.
It's presented to them that we are lazy and don't do anything, and that's why we're not ahead and we're squandering opportunities. That's what they come over here act like that we're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And we don't want anything. We're not gonna
Yeah.
do anything. So
Yeah.
we deserve what we get.
Yeah, and today's show is not just about people who are leaking in from south of the border. We're talking about the Persians, whatever you call them, the Ukrainians, the Russians. You got people all over with that same mindset, as though we didn't have enough ignorance in the United States of America that we're dealing with, to now have to be dealing with more ignorance. I want to say rest those two people's souls and condolences to their family, because views aren't worth any of that
At all. That's crazy.
Yeah, Ruiz was in there. Yeah, you in my backyard. You this my town. All while he was looking for him, and then you're gonna try to claim self-defense when all you had to do was not stalk them.
Yeah, just go home and stay there. Pretty simple.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know Nevada don't play around, especially with crimes on the
Strip.
street. Yeah, I mean, you might as well go down there to the Gold Coast and commit a murder. You know what I mean? And on live. You know what I'm saying? And then think, yeah, whatever the case might be, you're going to jail, buddy.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. I mean, over some YouTube beef.
But that's the thing. Some people are crazy.
Yeah. And
You know what I mean?
that's some people's livelihood too. Strike could get your monetization taken away, and
Yeah.
I'm not justifying any of it. I'm just saying,
if you're a wacko and then
Yeah.
that's happening.
yes.
But the killing and getting your channel pulled down, that's not going to hurt your monetization. The double murder right there.
Oh
in
yeah,
front
well,
of everybody.
it's over with. It's over with. Just hang it up, buddy. Now you get nothing for never, forever.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad, but that's the world we live in, man. Social media is not some positive gain necessarily.
Facts.
All right. The Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering. That's what we're unpacking today. But before we get there, we got a dome teaser, which is going into the chat now. I grant a name from the moment you cry. Though no papers are signed, nor questions asked why. Your soil decides what rights you may hold by chance of the stars and borders so bold. What am I? I'll read it one more time. Karen, can you put that in the chat? Appreciate you, Karen. Come on. So bold. Okay. I'll get rid of that. Maybe they'll. Are you kidding me? All right. So bold. All right. There we go. I grant a name from the moment you cry, though no papers are signed, nor questions asked why. Your soil decides what rights you may hold by chance of the stars and borders so bold. What am I? A thumbs up out there?
Nope.
He's matriculating. All right. Enough of the appetizers out there.
Let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
All right. Well, we don't have a promo video, but we got a somewhat related video to today's content.
If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tight because we are going to run you down and put you in jail.
Talking about the protest.
If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. If you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop.
So that was a sheriff, I think Broward County, somewhere in Florida, after the protest that was going on out here in LA. And remember they were having that No King's Day thing that was going on all around the country. And that was his reaction.
Response.
Oh yeah, before the date. I'll tell you what, they had no problems in that county. I don't know who translated that into all the different languages, you know what I mean? But they had no problems in that county, bro.
Yeah. Well, know where to go do their shenanigans.
Yeah. I don't know if I agree with all of it, but I know when he was like, if you spit on me, yeah, you got to draw a line somewhere, don't you, Sal?
You're going to the hospital.
I told DX,
then jail.
Yes. I told DX, I can take a lot of stuff. You can say what you want to say. I said, that's probably why I'm not 12. But you spit on me, I'm hitting you with all the anti-lethal stuff I got in there. Your spit glands probably won't work for years after I'm finished with you. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, we do this show for the culture. We do it in memory of George Floyd, rest his soul. We're bronze/copper colored first. It's all about the more growth and development program around here. Trolls get holes. We're here to chronicle our story as to rival his story, okay? And we do it for the progeny, those who are going to come behind us, who could be us coming back in a perpetual loop. Who knows? So that's what it's all about. So we're going to hop into it. The Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering, Unpacked. So let's hop to it, bro. Let's start with the Ally Warmongering piece. Oh, yeah, you got it. Brother Wordsmith has solved today's dome teaser. He put it in the personal chat. If you guys got any guesses, start typing it up. We'll tell you if you're warm or cold. And if you solve it, we'll tell you you're right. Otherwise, you got to wait till the end of the show for Brother Wordsmith to break it down for you. All right. I know you've been busy. I've been busy too, bro. Why did the United States bomb Iran?
Well, they claim they want to stop their nuclear processing so they can make weapons.
Weapons of mass destruction. Didn't we hear this in the whole Iraq thing?
Well, it's a common thread that they use.
You want to stop one nation from defending itself against another nation that we give nukes to.
Yeah, well, on top of that, the Iranians say that they're not building weapons; they're using it for power. So, that could be a complete lie.
Could be,
and it could be the complete truth.
Could be the complete truth. Why do you feel the United States did it?
Because Israel wanted it done. It's a Zionist approach to this whole situation.
Where are the Ten Commandments? That's in the Old Testament. Yeah, yeah. So it would be in the
Yes.
Torah. Yeah, there's Moses' laws. They love Moses in their community. Um, thou shalt not kill. Does that?
Well, that really only applies to other people of their ilk,
Mm-hmm.
and not to kill um
Mm-hmm.
ish people.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
don't look, they
yeah,
don't look at anybody else as people.
yeah. Allegedly, in our opinion. You're
Yes.
right. Um, I agree with that. The same way when the usury, usurious interest is in all of those their books, and so they found a little loophole. Shrewd individuals, forked tongue, allegedly, in my opinion. They got a lot of attorneys, and they know how to use these words and manipulate them. And words are spells. And so, yeah, so what they do, Self, is they find a non quote chosen person, end quote, to drop the bombs, to do the usurious interest, and then they just benefit off of it on the back end. That's the way
Well,
they get around their laws.
and it's quite easy to do, seeing as how many dual citizens are in our Congress and Senate, our government as a whole. It's I think it should be outlawed.
So you think that they can hustle Yahweh? Like, you think the Supreme Creator isn't aware of the like, you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Do you think that they think that Yahweh, or do you think that they don't believe in none of that?
Um, I'm not sure if they believe it or not, but they think that they're extra special and more special than anybody else on this planet, and they've been programmed as that is the truth.
Right. Right. You give your children laws, and you don't ask for much. And you say, look, son or daughter, you know, don't kill anybody unless it's self-defense or whatever. Then you come to find out that they're hiring other people to do the killing for them. Like, the fact that people would think that would work is mind-boggling.
Um, Plans have been going on for a very long time, so it didn't work initially. It's been over time. The programming of everybody has come to such where they're in power.
What do you think would happen? What do you think the United States would have done if Russia or China bombed Israel to stop them from making more nukes?
They would bomb the hell out of it. Whoever
Yes.
did it, they would bomb the hell out of it.
Yes.
They would get NATO involved,
Yes.
or allies
Yes.
around China. They would get everybody involved.
And
They
if we
would-
didn't have the balls to bomb them, then we would bomb like North Korea or one of their affiliates.
It'd be a war.
Eventually, it would lead to war. At minimum, though, we would probably maybe we wouldn't have the balls to bomb Russia or China, but we'd bomb one of their affiliates. That's for sure. But I feel like your first answer is probably, we'd be dumb enough to start a war with Russia or China.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, the media would be up in arms.
Yeah, because they're all owned by the same people.
Easy, Kanye. Easy. I'd be meeting these people and they jump right in and be like, "What do you feel about Kanye?" You know what I mean? Like, I love Kanye. Oh, I'd be breaking their heart. How fucking, you know what I mean? Fuck wrong with y'all? Talking politics. All right. Is the trophy generation, I know this is a sensitive topic for you because, you've got young ones. Is the trophy generation built for the front lines, bro?
No, it's not hard for me. I have, my children. No, I mean they haven't been trained for that. My children haven't. You know what I mean? So like most of the children haven't. They softened it up and dumbed them down. Fortunately for me, my children aren't dumbed down. But they are softer than we were growing up.
Yeah. I agree. Like the way you can't imagine, like my niece when she was growing up, I just couldn't imagine her just riding a bike all through the city of Chicago, you know what I mean, at 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? 12, you just riding the bus to the other side of the city because they'll just stare at their phone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Their head don't be on that swivel.
yeah. My son said some of his uh mates at the camp, they on the L, and he telling them, "Hey, man, put your chain up." He said, "Put your phone up." He said, "Watch watch what's going on around us."
Man. Yeah, he's got that shy DNA in him. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Yeah.
I see some mess and change cars because there's some mess going on that car. You know what I mean? Some suspicious dealings. Ooh.
Yeah.
And they like, well, and they asking him, why do we change cars? He said, because they ain't even see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
One girl from Naperville was in tears.
Terrified.
Yes,
Poor thing.
poor thing.
Yeah. Do you remember, bro? We went to Savior's Day, and I can't remember what year. And Farrakhan, you remember what he had to say about the quote rogue nations at that time?
Yeah, he was talking about it's hypocritical for America to be calling nations rogue when they are the roguest of them all. It was just, and and they prove it time and time again.
100%. And he also listed 7 nations. Can't remember them all. Libya was one, hadn't been toppled. Iraq was one, hadn't been toppled. Iran was one, hadn't been toppled. Turkey was one, hadn't been toppled yet. Um, North Korea was on that list. And what he indicated was that all of these nations, I think he said he was told this by Gaddafi, all of these nations will be destroyed by the West. And he said they'll tell you all kind of lies as to the reasons why they got a crazy person at the helm. And he said the only thing that the crazy person at the helm is refusing is to allow the usurious World Bank to come over there and control the people's monies. You remember that?
Yeah.
I thought it was whack. I said, there's no way in hell. Bro, I told a manager I used to work for, she's Persian. That's what they call themselves now. What the fuck? Where's Persia? You know, I'll be asking them. Iran. Fucking say that. You know what I mean? So they're Persian. And she couldn't believe it, couldn't believe it. And I said, yeah. I said, Iran is on that list. I said, Iraq is on that list. What their goal is to strip Brother Wordsmith out of the family because he truly loves the family and the children, and he sees what's going on. And then what we'll do is we'll cut them off with sanctions. Trump just removed some sanctions on one of those countries, bro. Yeah, he did. But they must have agreed to the World Bank. Syria, he removed the sanctions off Syria last week. But we'll strangle him with these sanctions, and then we'll say, oh, Tory's a bad leader. He's not. Look at his family; they're poor, and look at that.
Yeah.
And then we start dropping pamphlets in Tory's yard.
Yeah.
Tell them, look, you could be like America, and show them all the glitz and glamour, and then they'll pull me in there. They say, hey, look, you know what I mean? I'll help you guys topple Tory. You know what I mean?
You run the show.
Yeah.
You got to follow orders though.
Yeah, but we're gonna give you, a couple big bags of money.
Yeah, you're gonna follow orders though.
Oh yeah. You're not gonna make any decisions.
Right.
Not one.
Right.
And then they do the programming, which you were alluding to earlier, to get their people, the children, to turn against their own nation, begging for it.
Sounds about right.
I find it fascinating that in like 1991, 92, the Nation of Islam, can we say that on YouTube?
I'm not sure these days.
Listed 7 nations, and we hadn't been to war with only like 2 of them at the time. And all of them, except for Turkey, and it's coming, have been deemed. Turkey might have already joined the World Bank. I got to look into that. That's probably why they haven't been toppled. They probably already sold out their people. Libya, they got Obama got rid of him. You hear nothing about Libya anymore.
No. Wonder what's going on there.
They got a puppet in there.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, they got a puppet in there.
They're robbing it.
Today we're doing the Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering Unpacked. Let's see here. Karen, can you bring that beat back? Big ups to Karen. She's on summer break. Think she's going to apply to grad school.
Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show, it's the Self Love Show. To expose they don't equal the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show.
Yes, sir.
Smith 9 Mills, the Self Love Show, the Self Love Show. You know how the story go, it's the Self Love Show.
Yes, y'all. Y'all know how the game go. Y'all know how the story goes. It's the Self Love Show. So, if you're a fan of the show, you know how we do. If you're new, it's an introduction to our platform. Thank you for being here. Today, we are unpacking the Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering Unpacked. And got some extremely edutaining videos for you to check out for just a few minutes. Need you to check those out.
All right, stand by, Karen.
And we'll be right back at you.
Yeah, that's right. Stand by, Karen. All right, let's go.
You sounding like this shit is the wheel or something, like it's gonna change the world. You sounding like this shit is the wheel or something, like it's gonna change the world. Look, man, I don't know about all that change the world shit, but what I do know is that they be going crazy over this, man. I'm telling you. And the bitches, oh Lord, the bitches, yo, they do anything for this.
And people, we're the largest ethnic group in America, the oldest ethnic group. We built this country.
The second occasion, I got a gentleman at my church. I was telling you, he had his mother would literally tell me posters would just get turned on. Just, slide down and pop up randomly. The radio station would change signals. The different things would just, pots and pans would just all of a sudden fall off the countertop. And so he finally got to a place, blood sugar used to be 1343, 1962. Like, it sounded like he was calling historical dates when they would get his blood sugar reading because he was a diabetic. He was a paraplegic. He was dying. He decided to starve himself to death. And so his mother was like, Pastor, I need you to come pray. I don't know what's wrong with my son. I called my homeboy because he was a lot deeper in the spirit realm than I am. And when we got there, man, I was like, man, he was sitting there. He's blind. He's already lost one foot from gangrene. He's now about to lose the other foot. His body is turning sepsis. And dude is basically decided to starve to death. He had little places where he scratched himself, scabs, and he's got all types of marks across his face. And so I started praying over him. And I'm like, Lord, in the name of Jesus, heal his body. And God fix his mind on life and on you. My man starts grinding his teeth. Then he bites his lip and starts grinding his lip with his teeth. And in the process of that, he said, why are y'all doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? And then he starts screaming while I'm praying, leave me alone. I want to be here.
Do
And
you
so
think that he was talking to you or to the demons?
I think he was talking simultaneously to us both.
Yep.
And I think they were talking to me at the same time when they said, "Why are you doing this to me?" So I was calling for the demon to come out. And he was saying, "No, I want him here." So for me, at that point, I've never left a place certain that that man was going to hell. And when I got done praying, he immediately stopped biting his lip. His lip is now bleeding profusely into his mouth. And I grabbed his mother and gave her a hug and said, "I love you. We've done the best we could." And I walked out of that hospital. I had to take 2 days off from work because I worked a full-time job at that time. And I was like, I ain't never been so sure that somebody is 9 times out of 10 on their way to hell. Like
Approximately how old was the man?
Oh no, kinfolk was the same age as me. So I was 27.
Did you have any backstory on his life before the possession?
Just a wild child. Name was Damien. Wild child. Just living
His
his
name
life.
was Damien.
Ironically.
Air quotes or not air quotes.
Want some bacon?
No, man, I don't eat pork.
Are you Jewish?
No, I ain't Jewish. I just don't dig on swine, that's all.
Why not?
Pigs are filthy animals. I don't eat filthy animals.
Yeah, but bacon tastes good. Pork chops taste good.
Hey, sewer rat may taste like pumpkin pie, but I'd never know because I wouldn't eat the filthy motherfuckers. Pigs sleep and root in shit. That's a filthy animal. I ain't eat nothing ain't got sense enough to disregard its own feces.
How about a dog? Dog eats his own feces.
I don't eat dog either.
Yeah, but do you consider a dog to be a filthy animal?
I wouldn't go so far as to call a dog filthy, but they're definitely dirty. But dogs got personality. Personality goes a long way.
So by that rationale, if a pig had a better personality, he would cease to be a filthy animal. Is that true?
Well, we have to be talking about one charming motherfucking pig. I mean, he had to be 10 times more charming than that Arnold on Green Acres, you know what I'm saying?
Why am I coming back? Every damn thing. Everything about this event is love. Like, you outside for 3 days, feeling like just ecstatic about being outside. We having a good time. It's fellowship. It's love. Yeah. Like, you're gonna feel total freedom. From the time you wake up to the time you sleep. I come back because of every damn thing. Because of the people, because of the DJs, because of the feeling, because we own this land, because of the ancestors. Like, I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna hear what I want. Freddie, he gonna give me some acid this year. Or Bossler gonna give me a little Latin.
Are we talking LSD, DMT? What are we talking about?
Creeper gonna give me the afro. Rat gonna beat it up. You know, Goldilocks are kind of suit. Like, it's the perfect lineup for DJs. It's like a story from the beginning to the end, and you got to be there to experience it. It's my favorite event the entire summer. Over chosen few.
Man, I thank you guys for inviting me on. Thank you. Great format. Very solid. You know, it don't have that low budget movie feel. You know what I'm saying? And we get that a lot in the Black community, for real. Yeah. Like, people look at us to be fuck ups. They look at us to be low budget. They look at us to be ignorant, stuttering, and use a whole bunch of and all of that. But no, they got the real deal on here. That everybody know who Torian Mills is, baby. They know.
Hey, well, bro,
They so ignorant. So
hey, but this platform's your platform. This platform's my platform. From Inglewood, California to
the
Chicago,
South Shore.
Crazy thing about it.
This platform is
made for you and me.
It's made for you.
The crazy
and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. I was trying to get out the end of the preamble, but go ahead, bro.
Yes, y'all. Don't stop. Self Love Show rocks on. Weren't those videos edutaining? Were you not edutained?
Self Love Show. You know how the story go. It's the Self Love Show.
And we're back. Ready to get more into the conversation. Ice Age, Birthright, Citizenship, and Ally Warmongering. Here on the Self Luv Show.
It's the Self Luv Show, the Self Luv Show, the Self Luv Show.
Got a little into the conversation, but now y'all know how we do. About to go deep.
It's the Self Luv Show. Yeah, as he said, we're gonna dive even deeper, and we're gonna start talking about birthright citizenship. Before we get into the Ice Age, the 14th Amendment out there, and we've talked about it ad nauseum on this show in the past, bro, about how tools that were created literally for us and fought for us have been bastardized. The 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, is a cornerstone of American constitutional law, primarily focusing on citizenship, equal protection, and due process. It granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States, significantly impacting formerly enslaved peoples. The amendment also includes clauses regarding representation, debt, and disqualification from holding office. So, if you're born in the U.S., you are a citizen. The government cannot treat people differently based on certain characteristics like race or religion. The government must follow fair procedures and rules when taking action against a person. The number of representatives each state gets is based on its total population. People who rebelled against the U.S. government are barred from holding certain offices. So, what's your interpretation of that?
That people who parents are here, live here, have lived here, have a child, that the child is a citizen. It was mainly put into play because no one wanted to call the prisoners of war citizens. They wanted to treat them like they were less than.
Fair assessment. At risk of sounding like Donald Trump, this is coming from ChatGTP. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution is one of the most consequential legal provisions in American history. It was designed in the aftermath of the Civil War to secure rights from formerly enslaved people, but its reach has extended far beyond that original context. So it grants U.S. citizenship to all persons or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof. This is the foundation of citizenship, meaning anyone born on U.S. soil is automatically a citizen, regardless of their parents' status. Prohibits states from depriving any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. This clause has been used to apply most of the Bill of Rights to the states. Requires states to provide equal protection of laws to all people within their jurisdiction. This has been central to landmark civil rights cases, including those addressing racial segregation, gender discrimination, and marriage equality. Addresses issues like representation in Congress, restrictions on former Confederates holding office, the validity of public debt, and Congress's power to enforce the amendment. At its core, the Citizenship Clause reshaped the very meaning of Americanness by declaring that anyone born on U.S. soil is a citizen, regardless of ancestry or status. It created a broad legal umbrella of inclusion. This was revolutionary in the post-Civil War era, counteracting a legacy of exclusion based on race. Yet even now, that same clause sits at the heart of today's fiercest debates, especially around immigration, national security, demographic change. To some, it's a promise of equality. To others, it's a loophole being exploited. But either way, it remains one of the few legal truths that's both deeply symbolic and politically volatile. The Equal Protection Clause, meanwhile, has evolved into a legal sword against discrimination in all its forms, whether race, gender, or sexual orientation. It has empowered courts to strike down laws and practices that create unjust hierarchies, but interpretations haven't always moved in a straight line. Over decades, social movements and landmark cases have continually pushed the courts to clarify who gets this protection and why. In this way, the amendment acts less like a fixed doctrine and more like a mirror, reflecting the values of each generation as they battle to define fairness. And finally, there's the Due Process Clause, originally a check on state power, now a vehicle through which most of the Bill of Rights applies to the states. It's the reason freedom of speech, religion, and privacy aren't just federal ideas, but state-bound rights too. This fusion of federal oversight with individual liberty is what makes the 14th Amendment not just a historical clause, but a modern battlefield over everything from reproductive rights to 12 accountability. Altogether, the 14th Amendment isn't just one part of the Constitution, it's the tension point. It holds the contradiction between law and lived reality, between citizenship as a form of protection and as a mechanism of control. And it continues to ask the country, who are we willing to include and who are we still holding at the gates? So you've given me your interpretation. I had to go back and look at it when the courts were, deciding on this, that, and the other last week. And it gave me pause to think. When that law was written, you didn't have people from all over the world. And I think what Donald Trump is saying is that what country can I go to, Self, slide in there on a vacation or whatever?
Right.
And my wife is 9 months pregnant.
Right.
And then the baby's born there. And then I stay in that country. And then when they try to drag me out, I say, oh, you're separating families.
It's ridiculous. Completely and totally. I mean, it doesn't, the only sense that it makes is that they say this is a country of immigrants, and that's what they're trying to keep. They're trying to keep that misnomer.
I get it. And it feels like, I'm not a lawyer. They were saying that if you're here and you might happen to be, say, a gay rainbow family, and you have a child, that no state or government within this country could say that child's not a citizen based on your beliefs or based on your color or based on so what you said earlier, right? Yes, if you're already here and living here and you have a baby, then that baby is a citizen.
Yes.
So why is the left up in arms over this?
Because they're trying to replace us as voters. They're trying to replace us because we're tiring of their rhetoric, and they want to bring in anybody they can, and they're going to get them the world so they can get their vote.
Let's hear from the pink man on this. Very short video, y'all. Fair use, air quotes.
And some of the cases we're talking about would be, ending birthright citizenship, which now comes to the fore. That was meant for the babies of slaves. It wasn't meant for people trying to scam the system and come into the country on a vacation. This was, in fact, it was the same date, the exact same date, the end of the Civil War. It was meant for the babies of slaves, and it's so clean and so obvious. But this lets us go there and finally win that case, because hundreds of thousands of people are pouring into our country under birthright citizenship, and it wasn't meant for that reason. It was meant for the babies of slaves.
You got a problem with any of that?
No.
I don't either. You can not like a person, but that doesn't mean that you have to disagree with everything this person says.
Well, even if you think he's a liar, which he, allegedly could be, definitely, you have to tell the truth sometimes for a lie to be effective.
Yeah. Yeah. So what was happening is, and this is why, people were pushing for critical race theory, because more people would know this. And we feel like, oh yeah, it's necessary so the racist pinks can know what's going on. It's necessary so the people coming in this country can know what's going on. You saw the video and that comedian was talking about immigrants built this country. Yeah. Well, to an extent, we built it. They helped, right? There was Chinese here. But before, what he's talking about, none of them were here. I'm not gonna say none of them, but they weren't coming here. And it's already built. Self, I can't pull up to your house, and if I'm a smith, a wordsmith, I can't pull up to your house. I'm like, well, the wordsmiths, this house is built by wordsmiths. It's and just plop in. It's already built. Like all the work's been done. Like you're coming to a final product. Like what are we talking? What are we even talking about?
That was asinine that he made that statement. That
I never laughed at one of his jokes. I always confuse him for the boxer. He had hands. You know what I'm talking about? He's from LA. He liked the Coca-Cola. Yeah, Oscar de la Coca-Cola. Yeah, yeah. I think I was Oscar. Yeah, I always confuse him with him. I like to get them in a ring together.
He beat the crap out of him. I guess that's why you want to see it, huh?
Yeah, exactly why I want to see it. I think we're in agreement on our interpretation of it. But what does that look like? And I think what he's doing is trying to stop people from coming over here, pregnant already or getting pregnant. And then now when they're being removed for being in the country illegally, now ICE is being accused, which we'll get into later, of separating families.
No, the child's got to go with them. They can probably come back and they're considered a citizen or whatever, but they got to go with them. Who's going to take care of them?
You and I?
No.
You and I?
No.
So, so if anybody's out there, y'all hear my voice as you're watching this video, drop it in the comments. Let us know, how you feel about this. And that's right, because I don't think there's any nation in the world, Self. I mean, what we're doing, it is a security issue.
Completely. And letting undocumented people, and they're not checking their documentation, they're not checking what they've done, where they came from.
At all.
Not doing any of that.
They're getting jobs without background checks.
Man.
And
food and a place to stay, housing, vehicles. It's ridiculous.
College tuition.
Far more than what the people that's already been here get.
Yeah, who've been paying taxes. I'd push for a law, Self, after you're like 55, assuming you've been in this country, the whole time, no more taxes come. You paid your debt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and then those last 10 years or 15 before you retire, like, that way it can help you lead to retirement and all of that. No more taxes. You paid your debt. It's too bad the Democratic Party doesn't come up with stuff like this, and all they want to do is
who?
The Democratic Party.
Democratic?
Yeah, the Democrats.
They ain't not gonna come up with that. And neither were the Republicans either. They won't either.
All right, this is we got some dreamers out here. Obama, he's a tether, right?
Absolutely. I'm not. Yeah, well, I'm gonna keep that quiet.
Yeah, but he was deporting. But
he was deporter in chief. He's deported twice as much as anybody ever.
Yeah, he was deporting, but he was the one that talked fancy, the dreamers, and they just want to do right and get an education. I fancy that unless you're not in a gated community, if you're not in a gated community, no, if you're in a gated community, you have no idea what the reality of what a lot of these dreamers are doing, what their mindsets are. And that's not all of them. I've met some beautiful, beautiful young people. I want to say that. Here we go.
Oh, hell no. Oh my God.
You got one in the background that can't even barely speak English using the N-word.
Fucking nigga!
Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back. Get back.
That was a pee! Fucking nigga! Fuck you guys! Fuck guys! Yeah, he broke that. Fuck you!
He broke this.
I'll break him more, bitch!
Which one?
I'll break him more, bitch! I'll break him more! Hell no! Fuck you! No!
Leave it. He didn't do nothing. Just leave it. Get in.
Fuck you guys! Fuck you!
Yeah, fucking pigs. Fucking go back in your car, pig.
Motherfucker!
Where the hell was that?
You know what's crazy to me, bro?
That was in Nebraska. That was in Nebraska, bro. Once again, those are not bronze-colored people, and I think there's a switch. But that's kind of, you won't see this kind of stuff on MSNBC. And Air Quotes told me, he posts videos, they get 15, 20, 30,000 views, but that one got suppressed.
Yeah. Yeah. Really, because that's what Trump says about those people. So, as much as they can, they don't want that dude to be right about anything.
Yeah, but it's bigger than him. I think 67% of Americans voted for this.
Well, that's the whole problem with what they're doing. They're creating a large mistrust of the media and the powers that be. A lot of people waking up and seeing things for what they are and how they're presented.
Yeah. I would just say stop, man, running in front of cars and stuff. Call your Congress people, call your senators, protest in front of government buildings. Throw rocks at, I'm not going to say that. Don't throw rocks at government officials as they're entering the building. Don't rip off, the lawmakers. Don't destroy their cars. All right. I don't know, man. This is feels really odd to me that they're fighting. They use this term immigrants as though people have problems with immigrants who come to this country legally, don't cut the line, learn the Constitution, learn some short history, right? It'd be like me defending brothers who didn't learn anything over brothers who do you know what I'm saying, bro? Like
it's no, it's I feel you, but it's not like that. This is all their design. It's the rhetoric they've been spitting since they people came here.
Yep.
Because they're not from here.
Yep.
So they wants to continue that. Period.
I've been having conversations with people from all over the world. One lady was from Africa, and I said, if me and 1,000 African nation, can't remember, me and 1,000 black guys from Chicago, or black people, the kids, we went out there and was blocking traffic. We were in your country undocumented, getting all types of benefits from the government. And she was an immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, waving the American flag, setting cars on fire, what would happen? And she said, you would be shot. And I was like, damn, by the government? She said, no, by the citizens. People from all over the world are dealing with this. It's a humanitarian issue, right? I mean, come on, Self. If you're in a boat and there's 1,000 people out there and you and your family and friends are on this boat and you can save the women and children, maybe a few of them, but the boat starts taking on water, like, what are you supposed to do?
Keep it moving.
And
if you don't
ahead.
keep it moving, then everybody dies.
Correct. Everybody suffers and dies. Correct. And I think the last number on the border crossing Self was like 300 people came in this country last month illegally, as opposed to the thousands. Like, how bad is it in your nation? How much do you really need asylum if, as soon as Donald Trump gets in office, you ain't pulling up no more? You got immigrants telling me, whether illegal or illegal, I'm leaving America. America ain't with it. Bye.
You get moving. Move around.
God bless you, and bye.
Yes, go back where you came from.
And so that's what I'm saying. How terrible can it be that they all aren't, bombarding the border? Probably because they know when they get here, they're not going to be taken care of for free.
And I can't wait for the day we can tell them all to move around and push out.
I don't know what's going on in China, but man, we're going to get into this. Watch this video here and then give me your feedback on it.
Crazy to me, bro, is when they had the BLM protest, everybody was popping out. Every celebrity, YG, the Ball brothers, everybody was popping out. All the sports teams putting BLM on their back, you know what I'm saying, wearing BLM shirts, you know what I'm saying, freedom, wearing all these shirts, you know what I'm talking about the NBA right now, actually. Where's that now? Where are the celebrities now? Where are they protesting now? Where are the teams now? Why is nobody speaking up? Even Kendrick Lamar made a song. Lil Baby made a song. But where's everybody now? Where's all the celebrities? Why is nobody popping out now? Now that everybody's protesting in Los Angeles, San Diego, Chicago, because of I.C.E, where is everybody now? Why is nobody speaking up? Why is just the minority speaking up now? You feel what I'm saying? Nobody's talking. Nobody's speaking.
All right. Do you have a reaction to that, or answer to any of the answer to any of that young man's questions?
Ain't none of our business. I mean, we're talking about, why we not speaking on it. Y'all don't jump in and on any of our anything. In fact, y'all be on the other side talking crazy about us. That's why we're not involved. Tried to tell you. You didn't listen. So handle your position.
I wish I had more to say on that. I wish I had more to say. That. And he was specifically, he's talking about the NBA and this and that. Yeah, he's talking about black celebrities. And then he started talking about white celebrities. And then he said only the minorities. And he actually used that word right, because if you're not a citizen, you're considered a minority. So he actually used that word right. But the way it's used in today's world, are you saying that, I'll leave that alone, because he actually used that right. But yeah, does he expect us, our women and children? Because when we pull up, you said it earlier, man, we get locked up, we get dragged to jail. Did you see the history of us being thrown in paddy wagons?
See how old he is?
You
He
think
don't know nothing about none of that.
You think he's a dreamer? What are the chances he's a dreamer? 90% or more?
He's just straight illegal.
So you don't even think he was born here?
No.
Speaks English pretty good. You know what I mean? He probably got over here 5. Yeah. Well, you answered that well, and I don't think there's much more to say about that. I know that I'll come across them and they'll want to talk about it, but Black History Month will go by, nobody says anything. You say hello to people, they don't respond. They look at you like you're dirty. Some of them even spit by your foot. I've spit right next to him. You got the wrong one. You know what I'm saying? So not all of them, but I do want to say that 47% of the Latino Americans in LA voted for this. I come across some that came here the right way, been here. It's affecting them. They're talking about, man, they're taking our jobs. Oh, really? You know what I mean? So, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to the party, huh? Yeah. Right. Sad part of it is, as soon as this AI and this robotics gets kicked in,
all them jobs gonna be gone.
And how many of them will be allowed to come across the border at that point?
Zero.
They'll have robots. Yeah.
At the border.
You're right, bro. And this is something, again, if you're in those high rent districts, those high property tax areas, you're not dealing with the schools being overcrowded. You're not dealing with now the school has to manage. LA has a deficit that they're not talking about. LA is broke. California is broke because of these policies. In debt.
Yeah, so is Chicago. And I would beg to differ. Every
America, he calls it a welcoming state. You're a welcoming city. That's what your mayor
sanctuary.
Well, sanctuary, but no, but he was in front of Congress and he was in front of Senate.
Every sanctuary city
is in debt.
Is in deep debt.
But you wouldn't go in debt for your so-called citizens.
Yeah, they're getting tents and all this stuff for these people and putting them in hotels and all that. And the homeless population, man, they got rid of the tent area right on Roosevelt.
Yeah.
They put a fence around and threw all the tents away.
And you want to talk to me about dividing families? If some lady who has a baby is on, I'm talking about copper color.
Yeah.
Is on EBT and Section 8, the father can't even live there.
Right.
The father can't get any welfare EBT.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. They've been doing that for as long as they thought of it.
Yeah, we just want to give you guys some perspective. That's all we're here to do. It's just put some perspective, some balance. I don't know how your news is reporting it, bro, but this is getting really crazy. So you mentioned sanctuary cities. How did you vote on the legislation when they put the proposition before you at the last local election and said, "Hey, you want to be a sanctuary city and pay for all this shit"? What was your vote on that?
No.
We didn't even get the opportunity to vote on it here. It wasn't even a ballot measure.
It wasn't. It wasn't. It was like a study question. It wasn't a real question. It wasn't going to be enforced.
Yeah, we didn't even get none of that. We
Right.
didn't get none of that.
Well, I
Some
mean, it didn't
jackasses,
change anything.
some jackasses in the city council. Half of them are. Some of them could be illegal. Some of them could be immigrants. Do you know, Self, that they are hiring non-citizens to be law enforcement?
Yes, and in the armed forces.
But that's one thing. Go pay your dues on your penance. Last thing I need is this is crazy, bro. Imagine being in Russia, bro. You a non-citizen and you pulling over the Russians, bro, and you barely know. It's getting crazy, bro. So is ICE scooping up folks in the Chicagoland, like at your Home Depot and everything like that?
Well, I have noticed that those populations that was frequenting there are no longer frequenting.
Correct. I have noticed that too, bro. No, they've been pulling up on them here. They're starting to hang out at gas stations and stuff. But
they might have pulled up on them. I ain't seen that part, but they ain't reporting it either, because it's Democrat City.
Yeah.
But I do know, like, it was hundreds.
Yes.
Like 200 of them out.
And out of those 200 people, how many of them you think could be criminals? Realistically, 10%? That's 20 criminals sitting in there.
I'm going to say 50%.
Yeah, because they thirsty. Right. They're trying to feed their families or whatever the case might be. Right.
But it's ironic that they get more than us, and then they still out there trying to hustle.
Yes. And then the money goes back to their countries, 90% of it.
I'm like, man, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. Man, I agree. Yeah, here, bro, they're just grabbing them, bro. They pulling them over, and then everybody will come out and they'll say, "Yeah, but that was an old lady," and blah. You don't know, just because you don't know what that lady was into. You don't know what kind of scams she was running, what kind of finessing. Just because they're old and doesn't mean they're not committing crimes.
No, no. And they committed the one crime that gets them put out. They came here illegally.
That's only a misdemeanor, and they need to change that law and make it a felony.
Well, they just need to get him out. I don't care what they charge him as or whatever.
No, I got you. But the problem is that now when you say they're illegal, then their pushback is it's a misdemeanor. They got all these liberals coming out. Have you ever got a parking ticket? This is totally fucking different. I'm not in some other country undocumented driving around.
ST, get your cup. Shut the fuck up. Full cup. Sip slow. If you're trying to compare it, I don't care what it is. That crime should get you evicted. That
correct.
Crime get you sent back. I don't care if it's a fucking misdemeanor or a felony.
I agree.
Or whatever the fuck you want to call it.
I agree.
Get your ass back where you going, where you came from.
Man, this lady who had a full goatee, looked copper colored. Then I later realized this is a fucking tether. Yeah, I'm afraid to travel outside the country. What? Are you a citizen? Yeah, I'm a citizen. Do you have a passport? Yeah, but I don't want to be detained. Oh, Lord, out your goddamn ass. They are alleging that U.S. citizens are afraid to move around because of what's happening now.
There is supposedly a couple that, can't get back in the country. they were, born here or what have you. But I don't know what the deal is with that. But I have heard it. I didn't get all of the details, but they went on a cruise and can't get back in.
Maybe maybe they stole somebody's identity or something. Like we never get the details, you know. You know what I mean? Like you
Yeah.
just, you just don't get the details.
Yeah. It is what it is.
So you've noticed less people hanging out at Home Depot, and my message to bronze colored: go out there. You need you some day work. Go stand out there at Home Depot. You know what I mean? All these jobs they're saying that people are afraid to go to. Now's the time to apply to the bronze colored people. Go out there and get that work. Now, for all those who say they're doing jobs that United States citizens don't want to do, A, we don't want to do it for pennies. And B, if you live in a so-called welcoming city or sanctuary city, everybody knows. It's probably not like that in Chi because y'all got a lot of copper color. But everybody knows, bro. When I first moved here, they're like, man, if you walk into a place and it's all Hispanic, first of all, if you don't speak Spanish, that's a 0. And then so if they'll literally shred your application. Like you don't even get a call back because they have certain jobs that the politicians have deemed that they're going to allow the undocumented people to work, bro. The city jobs, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
Yeah,
yes, the maintenance.
it's here too, bro. They pacify the whole situation, bro. They make it much easier.
Yes. Yes. But I've noticed less traffic. I'll say that. There's less traffic. There's less random people walking around all over the place. I'll say that. There's a lot more respect and a lot less arrogance coming from all those communities. Again, these Asians have been running wild, bro. They're all over the road, driving a certain way. I'm just all of them, bro. They have a come to God moment. Now I walk past them, they smile, and they try to say hello. You ain't pulling me in this shit. Whereas before, bro, there was, man, I've gotten into many altercations with some of these undocumented people, bro, off just the ignorance that they're pulling. And then the first thing out their mouth is the N-word, like that kid was, on that video.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to vote?
My opinion. I'm at the point where this system needs to fall, and then I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry that I feel like we got to move away from this system. We need to create our own. We need to create our own. This system it's too corrupted. It's
shit.
It's spoiled. It's spoiled all the way through and through.
They're talking about housing crisis, and I'm watching people get deported, and they're like, and he's a homeowner. Well, how do you know what I'm saying, bro? And he's got a business, and how? Who's giving these people loans?
Right.
They don't even know who they are. You go to McDonald's, they're going to run a full background check.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not a Pookie or a Ray Ray.
It's unfair, and it's always been unfair because even though it's been very segregated, that community gets to live right up against the whites, the pinks, and kind of with them, but definitely the outskirts, like right up there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a redlining process.
Bro, you are so right. I noticed that yesterday. I was in Santa Monica. I was like, I saw a bunch of undocumented. I was like, I didn't know they had so many living in Santa Monica, but you have very few coloreds. And if they're colored, they're going to be doctors.
Harassed until they out
Well,
there.
well, they're going
I
to be
mean,
doctors,
or if they
lawyers.
live there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they're just hanging out around there, they're going to be harassed right out of there.
You are so right. But you said something earlier after that young man's video. Yeah, we were trying to have these discussions with them, and they just couldn't see it. You know, my family came here and did this and that, and look at us now, and bam. Well, keep living. You know, I've met brown people, so-called brown people, who were, and some of these people calling themselves brown, like this next lady we're going to show you. The way she's done her makeup, she looks white. But I've had brown people, bro, they're skinheads. They're in white supremacist groups. Like, how are we supposed to vote?
Biggest vote is no vote.
All right. We got the vice mayor of
Remove
Cudahy.
ourselves. Oh, the who?
Vice mayor of Cudahy, California. Now, when you go in these areas as a bronze-colored person, you're told frequently that you're not supposed to be there. You get dirtier looks, bro, than being in Bridgeport in the 80s during the daytime. I'm serious, bro. I'm not making this up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They don't like us. But here we go.
Where's the leadership at? Because you guys are all about territory, and this is 18th Street, and this is Torrance, and you guys tag everything up, claiming hood. And now that your hood's being invaded by the biggest gang there is, there ain't a peep out of you.
New details as the vice mayor of...
So she said all that on social media. Does anybody know any lawyers that work for the ACLU? I am working with a lawyer currently, but I also believe this is a First Amendment rights issue and want to get support from as many folks as possible. I need a lawyer. She's a doctor, the PhD. The FBI just came to my house. If anyone wants to support, please DM me. I need a lawyer. The FBI just came to my house. Sorry, let's keep going.
Of Cudahy is facing calls to resign over that controversial video where she calls for local gang members to defend their territories against ICE agents. Cynthia Gonzalez shared that post last
That's the mayor. You see, they don't look brown.
week. She's since deleted it, along with Facebook posts in which she writes about needing a lawyer, adding that the FBI came to her house. Federal sources tell Fox News that they are looking into that video. And new reaction from the union representing LAPD officers. The LA Police Protective League slammed Gonzalez, saying her remarks put law enforcement at risk. The union releasing a statement that reads in part, quote, her actions are deplorable and potentially illegal. She should resign and she should be prosecuted if what she called for broke the law.
Yeah, if she's the mayor, why didn't she call for help from the biggest gang in her city, which would be the Cudahy PD? But go ahead, I want to hear your take on this.
It's asinine, and it ain't the makeup that make her looking pink. She's pink stink all over her.
Is that a freedom of speech issue or
well, if you're calling to incite some sort of riot or something, that's
violence,
it's illegal speech, according to. Well, I guess for some people, other people can do that and not have any problems.
Correct. That is correct, and it depends on like what regime is in charge at the White House, what puppet they got up there.
Yeah. Facts.
But she hasn't stepped down, bro, and she hasn't been fired. And the mayor, like, that's what I'm saying, bro. You're to your point. You know, if that was Brandon Johnson's, Mayor BJ's vice mayor, and it was copper colored, and they said that, oh, yeah, he would have stepped down. He'd have done the right thing. You got to fall on this sword.
Well, I mean, there's actually one that did. He put him on a thing. He didn't say that. He just talked about Palestine. And media came after me, resigned. It was almost the same day that he had got the appointment.
Porch said Brandon Johnson has a 4% approval rating. No, that was the Senate. I was watching the Senate. They were grilling him. They said he has the lowest approval rating in Chicago history.
I would think so.
What's driving that?
His actions and his complete
tone deafness
and completely to the sanctuary city status,
right?
As opposed to the people that are there every meeting, speaking their displeasure,
right? And who voted for him?
Yes, the people that voted for him. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, and yeah, I wouldn't.
Oh, they grilled the shit out of him, bro. They brought him in front of the Senate and grilled the. I was happy to see it.
Good. I have an idea who was one of them doing the grilling. That dude would be grilling everybody.
Yeah, he
that come up
does
in front of him.
And I think he's like an old school politician, young dude. Yeah. Hey, and I think charges might be coming for some of these mayors, bro.
Well,
obstruction of justice.
I'm with it because I'm like, I want the system to run its course.
I feel you.
And this is helping it run its course because, I mean, they start getting rid of the corruption on the mayor level, then the governor's next. And, and then the Senate and the Congress of the states, and then the national. It's going to be a clean sweep. It's got to be the system can't be healed. It's too much BS imbibed in the system. You can't remove it.
And so are we harsh? Because I often ask people when they start like, yeah, it's fucked up, what's happening? Well, it's also fucked up what's been happening. Right? Yeah. Can they not see that?
No, they don't. They don't see that. They think it's a long time ago. And they don't see that. They don't even see it. It was more people are starting to wake up. That's what, like, white BJ has a bad approval rating because people are waking up.
And it was like 4. It wasn't higher than 6%, bro.
I
damn spit out my drink.
Hey, I can't imagine 6 people out of 100
approving.
Yes,
but yet the media props them up there.
Yeah, well.
So ultimately, the solution would be let anyone that claims they're seeking asylum, right? Because, if you go to Mexico and you can get sick over there and be in the hospital, and they will not let you leave the country until that bill is paid.
Period.
Total opposite from you come over here with illness and we're going to pay for all your medical stuff.
Right. Not the people that's already here. It's not free health care for everybody. But if you come over here, they will take care of you. Got them standing in line waiting to cross.
Right.
And nobody watching the border.
How could removing borders usher in the New World Order? And let them know what the New World Order is. It's a wacky conspiracy theory we've been hearing about for years, people.
One world government, one world religion, one world currency, one world religion, one world control. And it's eliminating borders just means that it all encompasses under one control or one government.
Yeah, big ups to Joe Cool. Well said. Big ups to Joe Cool, bro. Y'all subscribe to his channel. He's doing great stuff in the city of Chicago.
Yeah, he dope.
Yeah, he be on 12's ass. And hey, baby.
Yes, he does.
He said I.C.E, dope title. Yeah, I probably should have trademarked it before I put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that, bro, because it's going to be all over the internet and somebody's going to get 1 million views behind it as we just keep being shadow banned for speaking the truth out here, huh, fella?
Yeah, and they're going to claim that they created it and made it up.
Yep, and this video will get deleted so that there's no evidence of it. But appreciate that, bro. It all comes from the ether. All comes from the ether. So yeah. So how could removing borders part of the agenda?
Yes. Always has been. Remember when Behold the White Pale
White Horse. Yeah, I got that book over here.
Yeah, that it's all in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Has your interactions with undocumented peoples been overall pleasant?
I don't know, because you know me, man. I stay to myself. I don't be talking to everybody and all of that anyway. I haven't had any run-ins.
So you don't hire them to cut your lawn? And
I cut my own lawn out the app.
I've been seeing pink people out here in Cali, bro. I didn't even know y'all knew how to use that shit. They starting to cut their own grass because self in LA, they be out there doing the landscaping and ICE pulling up and taking them to jail.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say. I mean, if we're gonna pay for something, then I'd rather pay for their removal than to pay for them to live here and be doing all this shit. Personally.
And I'd say my interactions have gotten better since ICE started doing their thing, but I don't trust any of it. I know at the root of it, there's not any love for me. And you know me, bro. I talk to everybody. I don't prejudge or nothing, bro. I say, what's up? What's going on? They don't say shit. And then some of them pretend like they don't speak English, but you know what hello means. You know, you've been in this country 7, 8 years. You know what hello means. Good morning means, right? And if you don't, that's a problem in itself. There's no way I can be in, say, China and be over there 10 years undocumented and not know basic words, bro. Like that shows a complete disregard. It's the Democratic Party's fault for selling these people a hill of beans and making them think it's all sweet. It's also the Republicans' party fault because they gave them amnesty. So now they've been conditioned to feel like just keep flooding it, and so many of us will go there and they won't be able to process us. So they'll have no other choice but to give us amnesty.
Yeah, it's a bad situation. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I mean, because the people that coming, they kind of slowed that, but removing, especially the people that's running around doing a bunch of nonsense and crime.
But it's all linked. It's all linked, bro. When you say, when they say, yeah, y'all supposed to just be removing the criminals, you just said it, bro. Like, if you're undocumented, you broke the law when you got here. And not only that, you're harboring criminals. So like they'll be on ISIS butt saying, oh, they pulled up to the car wash and all these guys are doing the washing car. You don't know what these guys are doing.
Right. Have no idea.
They could be selling drugs out of that car wash.
Probably are.
And it's just weird how people can look at us, the copper-colored bronze, and assume criminal, and then they can look at foreigners and assume honest, hardworking peoples.
That's the programming.
That's the programming.
Immigrants are hardworking, period. Whether they came by legal or illegal means, they're looked at as hardworking. It's got a whole
pulling themselves up by the bootstrap off the sweater. If they're so hardworking, why are they?
You're asking me to warn you.
Why are their countries in shambles? Like, why don't you protest in your own countries? Like,
because you're not allowed to protest in most of their countries. Just like when you asked the African lady what happened to.
Well, she said the people. She said the
Yeah.
people would shoot you.
Yeah.
For blocking traffic and causing a stir, and you're not even a citizen. That's what she said.
Yeah.
And other countries are dealing with this, bro. What they're talking about is there's not even an immersion of culture, whatever the case might be, right? They're not even trying to, they just feel privileged, like we owe them all of these things. There's no gratitude, bro.
They roll around with their flag.
Yes. Yes.
And then complain about our country.
Hogging the road, not following any of the laws. And I'm not just talking about the brown, you know what I mean? I'm like, man. And then when you're in these sanctuary / welcoming cities, 12 don't do nothing but let them pull over me or you. And they throwing a book at us and trying to get all the fine money they can get out of us. We got one for you there, fella. Listen to this.
You're asking me to warn you about an enforcement action being taken by another agency before it happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Why not?
That would be obstruction of justice. You may want to talk to the city attorney. You're asking me to warn you about an enforcement action being taken by another agency before it happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Why not?
That would be obstruction of justice. You may want to talk to the city attorney.
Air quotes expert. These are the people, Self, that are running the city of LA.
That's ridiculous.
And she had the nerve to have an attitude about it, didn't she?
She was like, yeah. I'm like, what? Oh, we can't do that. Y'all get all of the dirtiness out of there.
Yeah, it would get us all arrested and thrown in federal jail.
Quite ridiculous.
So why wasn't the Democrats' leadership's panties in a bunch when Obama, the deporter-in-chief, was going ham?
Because it was all part of the plan.
What plan?
That's all it is. To get
I see what you're saying. Obama was doing something already that was part of the plan.
Yeah, and it was aligned with getting Trump in office.
Mm-hmm.
Really. To get Biden in office, but they knew he was going to have, short term because he was already, not himself.
And we were saying that on this show, bro, before, like, why can't anyone see this? And if you brought it up, people were looking at you. You a Trumpster. You a this and that. No, that guy has lost his marbles.
Personally, I don't never really think he had his marbles in the first place, but he lost what, marbles there that were marbleless. And you shake his head and you wouldn't hear anything.
Yeah. You put your pants on backwards. There's a problem.
And then we do during the debate, you lost it.
So why would Americans / politicians, meaning U.S. citizens, why are we funding college tuition, healthcare, housing, DMV activities? I mean, I got to renew my license and my registration. It costs money. Food for foreigners before United States citizens, before the constituents. I mean, make it make sense, please. I mean, I'm asking you, like, why are they doing it?
Because this is a country of immigrants, and the immigrants is what powers this country, and it always has powered this country, and we're going to continue to power this country with the immigrants, and they're going to come here, and they're going to immigrate, and they're going to put it down and make it great, and it's the nonsense they spew, bro,
You're 100% right, bro. That's what they're spewing. And my parents were immigrants. You know what I mean? And yeah. I don't know what it's looking like. You go to UCLA, 70% of those students are Asians, and 80% of them are some sort of immigrants. But they pay 3 times as much tuition when they're out of the country.
Yeah. U of I's
I heard about that.
very similar.
Yeah.
It was like that when we were there too.
Yeah, but you had more of your pinks out there then. It wasn't so many Asians, bro. But
It was
it's not.
it was whole dorms.
It was a lot, but it was no. I'm telling you, bro. I was there, and then I was there later, and I see the difference. No, it wasn't as many. We can check the data. The percentages of them were not. No.
It was more than us.
I can agree to that. Yes. And then you're in engineering, so you were going to come across them, more than I would have. But yeah, U of I was like 90% Caucasoid at that time. And then but it was definitely more Asians than us. I agree. But I'm saying now, bro, UCLA is at least 70% Asian. Some may be Asian Americans, but most of them aren't. And now that Trump's, instead of hitting a piñata, he's hitting the hornet's nest. They're all talking about, moving back to their country once they get their degrees. And what do you say to those people?
See ya.
Problem is they're paying 3 times the tuition. Some of that money should be going to the descendants of so-called slavery so that we can attend these institutions without paying this usurious student loans.
It should just be free.
I agree. I agree with that. 100%. So as we wrap this up, bro, the conclusions, what does immigration reform? I hear a lot of people who are pushing back on the current ICE age saying, we need immigration reform. We need immigration reform. And then I hear the other side saying, oh, we just need to enforce the laws that's already on the books.
Period.
What does immigration reform look like to Brother Wordsmith?
Well, I don't know if they'll like it, but if you don't come here the right way, then you should be deported. And I know we might lose some great individuals, but we got to take care of the people that's here. You can't have people on the street and you're giving people who ain't never did nothing here housing and a boost in front of, eliminate the Section 8 list and put them in the top of it. You can't do that. So you have to, I hate to say it like this, but you have to treat them like you treat your every other day copper colored.
Or your poor pink stinks.
Yeah.
I take it a step further.
Poor whites. Poor whites.
Yeah, I'd say poor whites because they're not all pink. Yeah, you're right.
The pink stink and go to hell.
Yeah, you're right. So I'll add to that a little bit. I said I would run it like a fancy new nightclub. If you're on the Sunset Strip, they're looking you up and down. First of all, if you're a guy, you better have a bag. You better be somebody. You know what I mean? You better be.
Or you're not getting in.
Yeah, you better have like $10,000 worth of outfit on, and you better be able to hit that bouncer with some money. Right, like you said, it's like coming to the Kappa House during the peak. You better be one of the guys, to even get in, because now what I would do is, just like on the Titanic, if a boat is shipping, if you're telling me there's asylum, your women and your children under a certain age can apply for asylum. If you're a grown man, racist, you can get to stepping. This is what I would do initially. Secondly, to your point, when you visit the United States of America, and this will cost money, we can privatize it. If you visit the United States, whether you're on a visa, whether you're here for, a student, whether you're here for whatever reason you're here for, vacation, you know what we're going to do? We're going to slap We're going to slap an ankle monitor on you. Yeah, I know they won't like it. They should be slapped with an ankle monitor, even when they're here for asylum. You're going to have this ankle monitor on you, and if you cut this ankle monitor off, you're going to get immediately deported.
I kind of agree with the asylum people, but you're gonna make people that's on vacation.
Yes, that's how they pulling it, bro. You know how many people come over here on vacation and they extend
and never leave.
They
Yeah.
never leave, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. We're gonna put that on you. You don't like it? Then guess what? You're not gonna visit America. That way, when I'm walking around, I know what I'm dealing with. Oh, you're not even, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? I know what I'm dealing with. You come in, you apply for a job, somebody's doing your work in the lawn. You know, wait a minute. You know what I mean?
What's that on your ankle?
It could be a different color, you know, from your, like if it's a Citizen and ankle monitor, it could be like red, and it could be, blue. And if you're a non-citizen with the ankle monitor, and you're going through the process, it could be, I know it'll cost a lot of money, but this is America. Yeah. That's what border reform looks like to me. I
bet it would cost less than giving them housing and $30,000 and all this SNAP and EBT and the vehicle and college education. It'd be cheaper to house monitor.
Okay. If I wanted to visit Greece and they said, look, we've been having problems with people not leaving. If you want to visit this country, you're going to put the ankle monitor on. How long are you going to be here? 4 days, 5 days, and blah, blah, blah. Why would I have a problem with that?
I'm not putting an ankle monitor on.
So why? Why would you have a problem with that if you're going to visit a country and those are their rules?
I think I wouldn't visit that country.
Well, where's my little violin?
Just me personally.
This is me playing a little violin to all those people who don't want to conform.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Go somewhere else.
Yeah, you're coming in my house. You know what I mean? I don't know who the hell you are. We've been having people, international squatters is what I've been calling them. You know what I mean? Put that monitor on them, and that way we can know. And when it's time to go get them, we can go get them. And that way they're sure to check in and get out. And when they leave, they turn that monitor back in. You know what I mean? That's it. That's it. And I'm going to charge you a deposit for it.
Yeah. Can't they just cut it off?
And then that thing's going to go off. You're right. But then guess what? Yeah, they can cut it off. They can cut it off. But then we know. And then that's a felony. And we're going to lock you up for X amount of time, and then we're going to ship you out of the country. That's right. Now people ain't talking about, yeah, but they was just and all he was doing was selling the ice cream, and he was just working at the table. They working at the table. Those are drug fronts 9 times out of 10. But leave it alone. Leave it alone before they deport you. All right. How can you secure such a vast border as what we have in the United States? What would you be doing?
You can't really. It's vast. It's all around the whole thing. There's people come in waterways anyway, whatever have you. But you gotta protect, and you gotta, follow the so-called laws. And I will say this too. I'm gonna say this. If I lived across the street, which is on the other side of the border, and they making money over here, and I can make money over here, then I'm probably coming over here. But I don't really blame them, but I blame the people how they're handling it. Because they should be shuffling them back.
Yeah, they're making it sweet.
Yes.
You're gonna come over here and document it and get free money?
And encouraging it. I mean, that makes it, and it means that they're encouraging it.
You come over here illegally, and then you get all of the rights and due process of a United States citizen. I'm sorry, I got an issue with that. And I'm not sorry. I apologize.
You get more rights.
Correct.
That's what's even worse about the whole thing.
I'll tell you what I would do. And I agree with you. I would probably do the same thing, but if they had a rule we're taking the women and children, I would tell wifey, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Live your best life. And when you make that money, send something back to me and I'll come visit you from time to time and blah, blah, blah. And you can visit me. But what I would do, Self, I would have a tea party. Okay. I'd partner with the Tea Party or whoever, some patriot group. And they're going to monitor these drones. I'd create drones all through the border, right? And then I'd have, X number of snipers, okay? And we're not going to shoot to kill. We're going to snipe that kneecap. And what happens is you're shooting to kill?
I mean, if you're using a sniper weapon, then you are shooting to kill. Because if you're shooting a kneecap, you're going to lose the whole leg.
Well, then that's...
So we got to go with something. Got to go with something lighter than the sniper.
Word gets out. They got U.S. snipers over there, and you run across that border. You're running across there on your own risk, bro. Like I mean, again, bro. This goes back to my thought experiment. If the boat is going down, bro, if those people are trying to pull themselves up on your boat, it's going to be a matter of time before you start knocking them down and using whatever means necessary to save your ship.
I got you.
See, you guys have made it sweet. You know what I mean? And they're talking about border reform. Well, not but you guys, not you, but you guys have gone soft. But I guarantee you go run into across anybody else's border like that, taking your risk. I guarantee
shoot your ass.
Yeah. So what's the problem? The problem is this is America. Is that the problem? Is that the problem?
Yeah. It's built by immigrants, and immigrants has always been a part of this country, and we're gonna still have them.
All right. So why did a racist, misogynist, lowly educated Donald Trump, why did he win 2 elections?
Because people are sick of the politics.
Yep. And what he was saying, these policies that we've been doing has been dragging the nation down on this boat, slowly but for sure.
Detrimental to the whole thing. They're letting people climb on the sinking boat.
Everyone.
And to pull it down, to make sure that it is gone.
And let me tell you something. If I was a legal immigrant, someone who came over here, did everything the right way, paperwork's in order.
Oh, they'd be pissed.
Yeah, I'd be pissed that you're linking us all together in one boat.
And furthermore, I did all this work.
Correct. Paid all this money.
Handing it to them.
Correct.
They be pissed.
100%, bro. 100%. You know what I mean? 100%. But I remember, never mind. I'll leave that alone. I'll leave that alone. I've said enough. You got anything else to say on this? I want to get into the poll question.
Nah.
Yeah, I think we've said enough. All right. Let's get to the poll question. All right. The poll question is, can the United States survive without undocumented peoples? Okay. Can we survive without a bunch of people climbing on to the boat? No. We need the hardworking, respectful additions. 20% of the respondents says that this country would cease to exist. A bunch of Venezuelans and people coming from God knows where in Russia and God knows where in China. We think everybody in China is doing math and science and shit. No, they got a mafia. That's why they lock so many people up over there. They ain't got no Negroes to lock up. They got jails. All right. So no, we need the hardworking, respectful additions. And I kind of get it. The hard work. Do we need them? I was telling somebody A lot of the jobs they're doing is what our teens and younger people were getting on the come up and college kids. And now they can't even work themselves because there's some undocumented person in there from God knows where, right? You know what I'm saying? There was a lady at 7-Eleven that got stabbed the other day by the manager. And we like to assume the manager was probably documented. I doubt it.
Yeah, it's a lot of mess.
So it's like you wouldn't even feel comfortable having your daughter or son work in some of these places when they get back there and there's a bunch of people back there in the kitchen doing God knows what, drinking cervezas. And you know what I mean? At least, you know what I'm saying? Because they might not have the same love for your child that say some older copper colored or, you know what I mean? All right.
Yeah.
The next one is unsure. I'm rubbing my bum on the border fence. 20% are unsure if America can survive without undocumented peoples. This question didn't say legal immigrants.
Right.
And I think that's the problem. All right. And then lastly, yes, US citizens will pick up the slack. 60% of the respondents have said that the US citizens will pick up the slack. It'll force these corporations to start paying more fair wages. You know what I mean? All these odd jobs could be picked up by people who want extra work. You won't have a bunch of people on the street driving around with no insurance, but they got a license and a fake name. Julio, the Portela, Guillermo, and they got 5 names. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. And then they're going to sit there and tell you don't call the policia, no policia, no. You can't do none of that shit in Mexico, bro. And then your insurance company is going to have to pick up all the damages. There was one guy just got deported 5 DUIs.
What?
Yes, they finally, ICE came and got him, picked him up at a Home Depot, 5 DUIs.
How come they didn't pick him up at court? I guess they wasn't forced to do that yet.
Yeah, see, in these sanctuary cities, they don't do that. So it used to be a time where, you're doing a crime, you're in the country illegal. Like, say, imagine you go to Germany, you over there committing crimes, you ain't even legal. And you imagine you go to court and they just let you go.
That's asinine. just send them back.
That's it. That's simple. It's simple.
And then you come back, we lock you up and throw away key.
All right. So, what was your response on that poll there, fella?
I said yes, we will be fine.
We're in agreement there.
And most of these jobs and going to be done by robots and AI anyway. So
anyway,
don't need anybody else to get money to live off of.
And if you're over here doing things the right way, and you truly need asylum, you're totally welcome. But even that's to a point, bro.
It's very much to a point.
Ain't it? Because running from gang members, that's not asylum. Running from poverty is not asylum. I mean, so, we could take O Block and just put them on buses and bring them out to Beverly Hills and say we're seeking asylum. And we'll see how that goes.
Well, that ain't going to go well.
Yeah. People at Beverly Hills should put them up in, apartments over there. We want to live better and we want to go to your schools. And you know what I mean? Our neighborhood is a shithole. The politicians are criminals. You can't even go to a different state and pull that. Only in America. Only in America, bro. Only in America.
Somewhere else and pull it though.
Only in America. Only in America. The views expressed in today's pod are those of the host and guests and are not necessarily reflective of TATN or any affiliates. As we close this chapter of the Ice Age, we've walked the blurred line between geography and identity, exploring how the place you're born can carry consequences far beyond the cradle. Birthright citizenship isn't just policy, it's a mirror reflecting society's evolving definition of who belongs and who is kept out. In a world that still builds walls on land, in law, and in language, those definitions matter more than ever. We've unpacked the chill beneath the surface of immigration control, tracing how enforcement strategies like ICE become more than acronyms. They become symbols of a national ethos that values order over empathy, allegiance over understanding. That tension doesn't stay at the border, it spills into living rooms, classrooms, and ballot boxes, shaping how we see each other and self. And with ally warmongering, we've peeled back the polished veneer of global partnerships to find interests masked as ideas. Solidarity without scrutiny can become complicity. And in that space, wars ignite not in defense of freedom, but in the shadows of strategy and greed. We're left to ask, when alliances stir conflict, who is the ally and who is the op? So, as the air clears, remember, today's episode wasn't just about systems. It's about stories. Stories of birth, belonging, and the battles fought in our names. Be warm in the age of ice. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, stay aware, and stay engaged. But most importantly, stay true to self. Also, love yourself and others around you, whether they're here legally or illegally. You can love them and still deport them. Remember, ask not what our culture can do for you, but what you can do for our culture. Silence is violence, and continue to question everything. Because the Self Love Show ain't Kansas, Toto. Peer down those rabbit holes. Do your own research, but use caution and discernment. Because sometimes when you stare into the abyss, well, the abyss stares right back at your copper-colored butt. Peace, self-love, honor, and respect. All right there, fella. We're going to break down this riddle. I grant a name from the moment you cry, though no papers are signed, nor questions asked why. Your soil decides what rights you may hold, by chance of the stars and borders so bold. All right, fella.
Birthright citizen.
Yeah, you 100%. Birthright citizenship. You are 100.
I didn't know it right away because rights was in the riddle, so that confused me a little bit. But then I pushed right on past that because
Yeah,
it's not the same thing. This is an adjective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, though, fella. Good job coming up with that. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna have to get Trife Mac on the phone. We're hoping to get the return of the Mac, Trife Mac.
Yes, that'd be awesome.
All Garden's finest, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That'd be nice. And then y'all can pull up on Sunday. We're covering Spolly Tricks. That's sports and politics. It's always an open panel. Anybody can pop out. But if you do pop out, what?
Don't forget your mouthpiece, because you can get left all wet.
Yeah, don't forget to bring your towel, and don't forget your mouthpiece out there. And let's see, yeah, Karen, I'll get you some new music. Tell them the science of self. I'm looking for the music.
Science of self is that we're all one being, as we are made up of trillions of cells. So are we cells to the one being. We come here to fake separateness, like we have our own things to do so we can experience. It's one thing to know everything as a theory. It's much more understanding and knowing when you experience. So we come into this matrix with a plan to be a part of the oneness, the selfness.
Well said. Well said. And Karen has drummed up something for you here. Big ups to Karen. Got a Nas type beat. And this brings me to my favorite part of the whole shebang, and that's Wordsmith's final words out there.
Yeah. It's the ice age and life is cold. So you better live your life, be big and bold. Cause they show they don't really care about us. They put people in front and they push us back to the back of the bus. And we still can't ride in the front. And they let these immigrants front on us. Soon we're gonna bust your bubble, cause this BS you're doing is looking for trouble. Cause ICE is gonna take them where they belong. ICE gonna take them where they belong. And too much time, too much time. Birthright citizenship is for us, I guess. I don't trust citizenship. I think we all need to be separated. Because within this system, we just get berated, player hated, slaved, killed. If it ain't physically, it's your soul and mentally. What we need to see is a different form of government. One where the people represent. And we can live our life. They don't do what's right. All this warmongering in the name of a different country. I don't know what to do or say, but I know I ain't never bumping for them. We need to get rid of dual citizenship, and I'll say it from the highest mountain to the lowest valley and everywhere in between. Get rid of this lobbyist just paying for the system to ruin our dream. Utopia. They bringing it to where it ain't no hope for you. I love life. Love seeing wrong turn to right. We on our way. That's all I gotta say. Words.
Words. Yeah, that dual citizenship, man, they just riding the fence with their bum. You know what I'm saying?
No, they riding with the other side.
Yeah.
Get them more reparations than the country that did the act.
Hey, your boy Donald Trump, well, not your boy, but Trump, yeah, he's beefing with Elon now, allegedly. And today he was saying, yeah, something we said months ago when they were doing the Doge. Yeah, we got to take a look at all those subsidies that Elon's been getting. Yeah. Subsidy, that's rich people's welfare, you guys.
Yeah.
Didn't you say that?
Yes.
The things you could build if you were getting hundreds of millions of dollars from the taxpayers?
Yes.
But he's a genius.
Not at all. come up with none of that stuff.
None of it, bro.
No different than Thomas Edison or Alexander Graham Bell.
Yeah. Facts. Hey, but great words, bro. Karen, take us out of here.
Love, honor, respect.
Hold on. Got too much going on here.
Do you think you are the one?
Take it back.
Honestly.
There we go. Gratitude, y'all.
Do you think you are the one? Honestly, I don't know. You know what that means? It's Latin. Means know thyself.
Time is now, my people. We must
Man, know thyself. I will eat the right foods that I
Go myself.
Cause the wrong way stole my health. I'm glad to be me now and nobody else.
Man, know thyself.
I will eat the right foods that I
Grow myself.
Cause the wrong way stole
My health.
I'm glad to be me now and nobody else. Yo,
Bullets.
in the code, all the scriptures, potions and elixirs.
Come on, Karen. Bullets. A boomerang.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, well, an eye for an eye.
Silence is violence.
See something, say something.
You want to be a slave? Vibrate greed. Ego. Fear. That's how they make you a slave. You end up in prison.
Okay. But I know for sure, charity plus humility times love is freedom.
That's how you get out. Do not answer questions.
Question everything.
We've got two who can see. Fear is cap. It's an illusion.
Yeah. Vibrate love.
See if you can hear it. You never die when you breathe in the Holy Spirit. Swine ain't divine, the people they won't go near it. Salad bar, spit it, not your avatar here to bring you back to God. Said it just like Master Far sent you. The end ain't always happy.
And forgiveness is love's supreme vibration.
So, do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end a beef.
Healthy people, heal thy people. That's a commandment.
Yeah, it's hurt people, for sure, gonna try to hurt people.
Free Larry Hoover, man, like Big Meech.
Free Jeff Ford.
Free all the guys, man.
Prison to slavery.
Check that 13th Amendment if you don't believe them. And be Yah. Walk on water.
Man. Move mountains.
Oh, Mountain Dew.
Yes, sir. Week by week, that mountain is getting weak. It's moving. Look at it.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. Being the one is just like being in love. No one can tell you you're in love, you just know it. Through and through. Balls to bones.
Still got them, bro.
Got mine.
Same, man. Stop snitching on y'allself. Take school serious.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.